Live from the Asbury Park Music Foundation and presented by Mogo, it's One More with Brian Erickson.
You ready?
I did it. No, you cursed yourself. You cursed yourself on that one.
No, you do it every week, and I thought maybe if I was like, "Don't make me laugh this week," you actually wouldn't.
Why? Why would you ever? You gotta I'm not good with I don't do that.
I don't know. Well,
we gotta get you a book on how to deal with unruly children to learn how to deal with me. You're gonna need positive reinforcement, treats, timeouts. It's gonna be bad.
That's why I'm not a parent.
There's a lot of reasons for that.
Oh, wow. We're not going to...
Welcome to One More with Brian Erickson. Each week we bring on two new guests. We sit them down and we ask them why they do what they do. And this week is no exception. Who do we have on, Brian?
We have Elaine Rasnake and Brianna Musco.
But first, and as always...
Chris Dubrow.
How's it going, Brian?
Hey, how are you?
I've ruined the whole thing already.
That's all right.
It's okay.
You've hijacked the episode.
Me? Taking control of things? Unruly? What? That's crazy. I've never heard of that. How you doing? Here's the thing. We used to do a whole catch up every week, but you and I are in a group chat now and we talk constantly. So I know how you're doing.
Nobody wants to know.
No, we're just talking
what we talk about.
We just talk about being bros and being homies and just chilling with my boys. And
well,
stuff
yeah.
Like that.
I mean, we talked about how we were supposed to see. So okay, here's the thing.
Okay, let's talk about this thing.
When I make plans with somebody. When I make plans with somebody,
what kind of plans?
Particularly with a small group of people,
okay.
Say 2 to 4 other individuals. In this case, 4 total individuals.
You're really gonna stretch this out, aren't you?
And we say, there's a thing that's happening. In this case, Shrek at the Baronet on Thursday.
Of course.
And I say, hey, fellas, really excited to do a thing this week with you guys. Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, oh. I have practice, I have work, and I'm not hanging out with you alone, Brian.
Yeah, I don't want to ever see you ever again. I don't know if you know this. I do a thing where in my Google Calendar, because there's a couple of different things.
You prioritize.
Not only do I prioritize, sometimes I'll put an event in, and it'll be something like going to see Shrek with Connor Bracken, Jeff Linden, and Brian Erickson, and I'll save that day and be like, if I need to schedule something, I can do it on that day. So I don't schedule certain things on there in case an emergency comes up. Such as me booking a rehearsal for a day that I'm not going to be in New Jersey and being like, well, actually, I have this other day free because I saved that day. And that day was Thursday when you're going to go see Shrek, presumably by yourself.
At this point, it's going to be by myself.
The only person there. You should go dressed as Shrek.
I mean...
No, take Nash. You and Nash should go dressed as Shrek.
I'm not going
anywhere. People cosplay as Shrek, right? That's a thing. I presume so.
I'm not
Matt,
doing that.
Do you cosplay as Shrek?
All
I know how
the
much
time.
you love Shrek and cosplaying. Great answer, Matt. We're not here to talk about Shrek, though. We're here to talk about One More with Brian Erickson. It's brought to you by the savory goodness of Mogo Korean Fusion Tacos. There's free tacos over there if you guys want some. Featuring fresh homemade ingredients, family recipes, and a variety of menu options, Mogo is bringing traditional Korean flavors to the masses for the past 3 years. Mogo has been a leading sponsor of Asbury Park Live, a free weekly summer concert series run in conjunction with the Asbury Park Music Foundation. This event series not only showcases emerging and established Asbury Park acts, but also raises money for youth music education, including launch of a new Latin music summer camp last year that I've been attending all summer long. So visit either of their 2 locations, Cookman Avenue or the Asbury Park Boardwalk, for casual sit-down dining or takeout. The price is always fair. The food is always fantastic. Mogo Korean Fusion Tacos. Eat it straight off the plate. Almost had it.
Yeah. I thought you were like a machine.
I'm getting better at it. I watched Network the other day, so I feel like I'm in
broadcast. What's the
Mad as Hell. Not gonna take it.
Mad as Hell. Yeah, that's right.
Because I am. Anyway, what were we talking
about? She's a singer-songwriter from Philadelphia whose latest recording, Live at the Music Ward, is available on Bandcamp. She's also a member of the band Kate Dressed Up. Let's welcome Elaine Rasnake.
Yeah, it's like a journey to get here now. Yeah, come sit here.
I love it though.
Yeah, that's like take the physical challenge.
I know, right?
There's so many wires to trip on. I trip over so many wires.
This is like an insurance nightmare, and we apologize.
Anything involving me is an insurance. Yeah, we don't make them sign releases or anything. We just
make them sign a waiver,
we
you
may
know.
have to start doing Yeah, I think we're gonna have to start doing that. Anyway, we're not here to talk about legalities.
Yeah.
Thank
Welcome
God.
to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is
Thank you
awesome.
for being here. This has been wonderful.
Oh, it's fine. Professional.
Well, I mean, we try. Have you met us?
We're going through something, me and you today.
It's so weird. There's a weird energy, I think, just around today. But I'm hoping to break that now
by talking to Elaine.
To you, Elaine. So you've been. Thank you. We've got a job opening for a new co-host, by the way. If you're ever
Jesse's injured.
Yeah, I like that we didn't even talk about that. We may at some point. We'll get to it. So you've been around, kind of in and around the recording studio for like 8 years-ish?
About that.
Now? Like around like 2011 or so?
Yeah, I started college for audio production in 2011 and then graduated in 2015.
Okay.
So I was doing stuff kind of like post-study since 2015.
So what draws you into like just that general like world, like music technology?
I mean, one of the biggest things was just like the underrepresentation of women in music and then the technical aspect of things. And also kind of selfishly just wanting to learn how to do stuff inside of a studio so that I could just kind of do it by myself and make it sound really good.
Yeah.
And I like helping people and like helping them make their music sound to the best of their ability.
Yeah, you were the first woman to graduate from your program.
Yeah, it was a group of 14 people and 14 guys and me. And then it kind of just narrowed down into maybe like 2 or 3 guys and me.
Really?
Wow.
Is it that kind of program?
It was. I mean, just because it was so difficult in terms of all the stuff that you had to learn, the music theory, history. So it kind of weeds out all the like, oh, I played in a band in high school and now I want to like learn how to record my buddies. And it's like, yeah, but you also need to learn all this extra technical stuff.
Yeah, the actual stuff and not like the garage band stuff.
Exactly.
Where I shall remain for the rest of my
Hey,
days.
I cut my demos in garage band.
Yeah, it's a step.
But like, I'm not gonna ever produce it.
Oh yeah, no.
Thank
Well,
God.
no, you
and
your brother did that Christine Mitchell record.
Always have an
though.
engineer. That's my rules. Always have someone who actually knows how to hit record, because I sure as hell don't know. We're not here to talk about me, Brian.
No, I know, but I'm.
But actually, I do. It's interesting. I want to like. For me. It's always interesting to see someone who, because I know a bunch of people who work on both sides of it, the production and just the music side, and the people who tend to work in both. Do you find yourself thinking about building the songs as you're writing them? Like, how do you separate the writing of things from the how do I make this a thing?
Absolutely. So with me specifically, it's actually a pretty long process where I'll write a lot of like prose and poetry to maybe like ambient music or just like silence or whatnot, and then close it and walk away for like a good, like 2 or 3 months.
Interesting.
And then come back to it with like a completely fresh mind, kind of read and pick out words, and then try to make songs out of that, so that it's not like I'm creating something out of almost nothing. You know what I mean?
So you're not just sitting there like starting with guitar and chords and like building.
Now, I will say that there are some where it's just kind of like I came up with a song, figured out some chords for it, but I feel like it's a solid maybe like 60-40 split, with most of them kind of being just write some stuff down, come back to it later.
What value do you find in that type of work? Like, that's at least from my own, like in my opinion, from my own, from our experience, like interviewing songwriters all the time, that seems like kind of an unusual practice, not just to not write with any music, but to write with no music and then walk away from it for, extended periods of time.
Yeah.
Do you find that, kind of looking on it with fresh eyes, maybe you sort of look at something and say, okay, well, this one maybe could last, where maybe this one was just sort of like a brain dump, kind of thing?
Yeah, because a lot of it is kind of almost like diary entry, brain dump kind of stuff. So it allows me to not have that pressure of figuring out words that rhyme or figuring out like, oh, it needs to be in this kind of structure. But I'm just kind of writing, and it's almost an interesting, like, physical, like, I like how these words feel as I'm writing them. I like how they feel as they're, like, going through my mouth, and then I can kind of go in later with the thought process of like, okay, what word sequences, what sentences sound really cool that could be lyrical, and then taking ideas from that and building upon it kind of later with a fresher mind.
Yeah, I really like that. Like the idea of it. I was having a conversation like that with somebody just a couple days ago, saying like, to me, it's almost like songwriting is not an art so much as it's a craft. Like the more you do it and the more you learn about it, it stops being this sort of like, kind of divine, like this sort of divine intervention of inspiration. And you kind of just say, okay, well, I need 3 verses, 3 choruses, a bridge, maybe a solo here. Like, how can we get to that?
Yeah, exactly. And it can be a little overwhelming when you're just like stuck on verse 2 and you just can't get past verse 2. But if you're just like,
but maybe the walking away kind of lends a little bit of, a little bit of freshness to it.
Yeah,
so
and
maybe
that
you
lack
come
of
back
pressure.
with that, like a couple weeks, months, however long of, whatever you've lived in that time, and maybe you bring it to that. And maybe you get your verse 2.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with that.
Oh, all right. So I want to ask you what it was like, since you're not just involved in songwriting, but you're involved in the studio. What was it like the first time you took on a client just by yourself, not under anybody else's mentorship? Was that a different sort of pressure, or were you kind of like, okay, I'm ready for this? Or
I was surprisingly okay and ready. I think because of when I was in college, I spent so much time in the studio. Like I was there maybe like 6 to 9 hours. Even if it wasn't my session, I would sit in on other people's, just kind of like hang out in the back and just kind of learn by watching. Yeah. So if anything, the most nerve-wracking thing was the actual act of reaching out to the world and just being like, I know how to do this, please pick me,
Oh, wow.
So once someone's just like, hi, I would love you to like record some of my stuff, then that's almost that release of like, okay, that like fear of rejection isn't there, because then you're like, you've picked me, cool, I know what I can do, here you go. And then I usually try to be super flexible and just keep having a back and forth of like, how does this one sound? Okay, how about this take, this and that, so that they in the end get what they kind of want and deserve and what they're hearing in their head. Yeah.
And how I guess how does it feel then, once that started to become more of a regular occurrence, I guess, how does that feeling of validation affect the way you approach your work?
I'm trying to think. I mean, it probably just kind of ups my confidence every time that it's like, oh, I heard from recommendations, oh, I heard this, I really liked how this sounded. So it kind of makes me feel a little bit better, so then I can go in like more confidently every single time and just be like, yep, just do it that way. And I kind of can like rinse and repeat a little bit, but still be super creative.
Yeah, that's great.
I want to ask, so the album that you came out with, you just released the live one, but it's the same album that I always forget the name of it.
Breathe Again.
Yeah. So I'm obsessed with this because you built that whole thing beginning, like top to bottom, everything yourself. Like, let's talk about that, because I do want to talk about that album and the live version.
Yeah.
So you built it. Like, let's walk through that.
Yeah, so pretty much the writing process, as mentioned earlier, just kind of like slowly writing, slowly gathering things. And then, the song Space Suit took 2 years to make.
Wow.
Because it had like figuring out like what kind of drums, what kind of rhythms, just everything from scratch, because I'm not a drummer. So having to kind of craft these like drum beats and just kind of listening to sounds, something might spark an interest and be like, ooh, that might be a cool solo, or be like, oh, it needs to be a little bit like thicker, let's find some kind of like pads. So it's very much just like
the idea
like a
of
Frankenstein kind of
I like the
feel.
idea like the creative, like you have like the song, the lyrics, melody, and chord, and then like finding out all the mechanicals of making it a full thing. And like I always think about like the idea of like, it's month 9, you're working on the one tone of one guitar on one of 12 songs. Like, I would actually lose my mind.
See, and
I don't know how you found the, I don't know how you found the motivation.
That's like a Prince mentality, though.
Yeah.
I allowed myself not to get too hyper focused on like tones and things, and like everything is able to be played on a guitar. Just like it can work kind of in like a campfire situation. So then it's just how much do I want to build it from there. So you have songs where it's like Untitled and it's just like the raw, almost like one take.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? No, this is perfect. This is exactly what it needs to be, versus just like imagining all of the elements of everything.
Absolutely.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I can't fathom that. I've been like doing a project on GarageBand since like college that I will probably now never finish.
You have to finish it.
I've been re-recording all of They Might Be Giants' Flood. I'm just never gonna do it.
Oh, wow.
I just have like, it doesn't matter. But I like the idea of you have that album that, you know, you spent 2 years, let's say, building it and living in it and recording that version, and then you take the same record and you do it live in one day and release that.
Yeah, with a full band.
So I want to talk about the idea of like the same songs, the same ideas, done more or less the two exact opposite ways.
Yeah.
What did you find in those songs? Coming back to them, making them live, and then just hearing them, this is the take, done, release it.
Yeah, so essentially the way that it was done was it was a show. It was essentially saying, I have a band now. It's not just me solo. Like Elaine Rasnake is a band that can be solo every now and then. And pretty much it was just like normal band practices. We spent maybe about like 2.5 weeks just learning the songs and just wanted to have a show. And we did it at the Music Ward, which had recording which had like recording capabilities, and I was like, this would be awesome. Let's just record it, see how it sounds. It's going to be a show anyway, and it ended up sounding really awesome. Boom, made it a thing.
What did you find in the songs coming back to them? And again, the idea like, here's the immediate version. Did you find anything new with all these songs? 'Cause you've been living with them forever.
Yes, I found soloing on the guitar.
Okay.
Actually,
Yeah, that's a way.
was one
start.
thing, because I'm not a soloer, and with like a band setting, I think it ended up taking these kind of like indie pop songs and giving them a rock edge that is kind of like, oh, is that what you were trying to be this whole time kind of vibe? And some of them getting even like poppier, you know? And so having more musicians allowed more minds and more sounds all at once to kind of happen at the same time instead of just piece by piece by piece.
I get that.
Did you find it hard at times to trust your band members?
A little bit, but I think
Like especially when it's just this is one take and
Kate was playing
we're
bass, right?
yeah, Kate was on bass, and I mean, I had been in her band for a handful of months before she joined mine. So it was me being in her band that kind of inspired me, like, wow, I miss this feeling of the energy of performing with other people on a stage and creating one cohesive kind of thought, one song. So the trust was like, it took a little bit, but I was actually kind of surprised of how much I was able to let go. And I think having good bandmates who respect what you've made and like your vision, and is just kind of like, I love that, what do you think of this? No. And then they don't kind of put like a grudge, like, oh, why don't you like my ideas? You know, it's just kind of like, cool, what should I do? And so that nice healthy dynamic of like, here's an idea, love it, here's another idea, maybe not, you know, and just kind of tweaking.
Yeah. Discovering how to be a band leader is an interesting thing.
Yeah,
Try
it's
it now.
tricky.
What's that?
You would know how to be a band leader. I certainly wouldn't.
Do I know how?
You've run 2 bands.
Run one of them into the
12.
ground.
So wait, we're not blaming Fear Rock anymore?
Not anymore. So actually, I want to. Can we talk about you playing with Kate Dressed Up for a minute or two?
Let's give a shout out to Kate. What's up, Kate?
Hi,
Yeah.
Kate.
Hey, Katie.
So yes, obviously now Kate Dressed Up, totally a band and not just an alias for for Katie Miller.
Yeah.
What do you bring to that?
It's just so much fun. I think, again, kind of like what she brings to my band is just this like fuller sound, bringing in ideas, and just, I think just a fuller sound, a bigger kind of taking her ideas that she had been doing a lot on her looper and just exploding it into what it, again, like deserves to be.
Yeah, I'm always fascinated when a like a songwriter joins a band as like kind of as like a side person, you know, sort of a front person joining as a side person in another sort of in another project, and you and Katie have each sort of done that, you know, for one another. What has playing in that band done for you as a writer?
It's allowed me to be a little more ambitious in my playing styles. Like, I kind of was inspired to do more soloing because of the soloing that she does.
Yeah, excellent guitarist.
And just exploring different lyrical ideas, and yeah, just there's like a lot. I'm trying to make like a list in my brain of like this. But I think just overall, just being comfortable with trusting others and having a full band. Yeah. Is pretty much a good way to kind of sum all of it up.
I have one more question for you, but Chris, if you've got anything,
I had something snarky, but I've forgotten it, so we should move on.
Okay, then my final question, and we're going to hear obviously some of your some of your songwriting to help us cap the show off tonight. But my last question for you is just kind of a general one. How has music continued? How has music allowed you to continue to face and overcome new and different challenges?
Ooh, that's deep.
Not just as a writer, but say like as an experience, as your experience early on, like being the only woman in your program, things like that.
I think it made me, it helped me be more confident to take risks, whether it was the risk of being the only female in a class for a kind of topic that's very male dominated, to taking risks in trusting others and style of music, and just jumping in and seeing what happens,
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
Elaine.
you.
It's
this
been
has
our
been
pleasure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Elaine Rasnake, everybody.
One more with Brian Erickson. Is you okay?
Oh no.
Yeah, right. It's an obstacle course.
You're talking to my lawyer.
I thought I was your lawyer, and I'd sue me. One More with Brian Erickson is sponsored by You Don't Know Jersey, owned and operated by Allison and Maziak. You Don't Know Jersey has been bringing its readers all the best in Garden State sports, music, art, film, and culture for nearly a decade. Hey, Brian, do you really want to know why they call it pork roll? That's ominous. So whether you're in High Point, Cape May, or anywhere in between, visit YouDon'tKnowJersey.com. You don't know Jersey because time is a made-up concept that only serves to keep the wheels of capitalism spinning. Jesus fucking Christ. What, you got like the spark notes of the Communist Manifesto last week? What was that?
I don't know.
You don't know Jersey. Seize the means of productions. Like, what the fuck is that? It's not a real thing. Shout out to Jessie McCormick. She's injured. We love you, Jessie.
Yeah, that's
she was going too fast and too furious.
She was involved in a minor.
She was going so fast
accident.
and so furious. Vin Diesel and her were racing on. I don't even know what the plot of any of this movie is.
Well, she's in the new movie Hobbs and Shaw, right?
She plays and. Okay, please move on before I riff more. Dear God, move on.
She just released a music video called Ringling. Her song Forever has been streamed 45,000 times, and she's a 2-time Delaware State University soccer champion. Let us welcome Brianna Musco.
I didn't know that about the soccer thing. That's cool.
Hi, Chris.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
We've been hanging out for like an hour
Nice
now.
to see you.
I know, right? Stuffed on Mogo.
Yeah, no, that's how we do here. You didn't know about the soccer?
I don't know.
No?
I don't know. We don't
I
know
used
each
to
other,
be-
even though we statistically have been at a bunch of shows together.
Yes.
Probably.
Okay.
That's okay.
That's fine. I'm not memorable.
Yes, you are.
All right. Anyway, so you've been pretty busy this summer. What was it, like 24-ish cities in just over a month's time?
Over and under. Definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah. Is it okay to welcome you back for at least a little while before you inevitably go off again?
Don't you worry. I already ate, I think, 2 dinners now down Asbury and on Cookman, so we're good.
Oh, all right.
We are back home and ready to go.
Excellent. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
So what are some of the virtues of kind of getting on the road and just going?
You definitely learn so many funny things about your band members. and how trying to keep each other up when we're doing night shifts and figuring out just like funny habits. And it honestly is one of my favorite experiences of my life to date. Just out of the sheer fact that, you know, you get in the road with 3 other guys and you're in the middle of Iowa and all of a sudden you haven't seen Korn you've only seen Korn for the last 2 hours and you have run out of music. It is to the actual point where you've run out of music. So you start writing a song in the middle of the car.
Do you get like decent reception? Can somebody, you know, hop on Spotify or Bandcamp or something out in the dare I call it the flyover states?
Well, there goes that Democrat.
I know. Well, we're just a bunch of we're a bunch of coastal.
Is it Iowans?
Elites.
Is that it?
Iowans.
Iowans. Whatever.
Yes.
That's
Sure.
Iowans.
I don't know any of them. I can talk as much shit as I want about
That was one
them.
of my favorite shows, though, was
Yeah?
right outside Des Moines. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I actually wrote that was actually where I was going too, because I wanted to talk about some of those shows in the Midwest. I wrote down Waukesha, Wisconsin, just because I thought it was kind of a funny.
Waukesha, come on.
Shut up.
Everyone knows Waukesha. How did you book the tour? Did you do it yourself?
So we did the first run of the tour that was more of the East Coast. We did with all bands that we've played in Asbury, in
That's good.
like the Red Bank area.
Hell yeah.
Some Philly. One of the Philly shows was with a couple of Philly bands we had previously played with. But all of the the Midwest, Colorado, and like New Orleans ones, we have our buddy Matt who lives in Iowa.
All right. Shout out to Matt.
Shout out to Matt. He's the best.
What's their state slogan? Are they like the Husker State or something?
The Hustler
No,
State?
that's
The
Nebraska.
Husker.
Isn't Nebraska the Husker?
I don't know.
University of Nebraska?
Why would I know these things?
I don't know why I would know these things.
I don't know any of this kind of stuff.
But I'm sorry. So continue. So you're so you had help booking in Iowa, as it were. But yeah, how did that all? I guess how did that all come together? Was it like just friends of friends, or was it a little bit of like indie on the move, that sort of thing, or like posting to different places? Like how did the this sort of far off shows come together?
Definitely. So we had done a previous road trip of shows as far out as I would say Waukesha, Wisconsin, and Chicago, and more of the Midwest. But I have family in Denver that have been wanting to see me play for a couple of years now. So I said to them, you know what? I'm not going to work for the month. We're gonna extend the trip, make sure we get all the way out there, and it's just stunning out there. The views, the mountains, the hiking, just insane.
That's great. See, now that's like a show that seems like it's worth going to. Because like you get a friend who doesn't want to drive like 45 minutes. They're like, oh, come to like South Amboy someday. When you come through South Amboy, like let me know and I'll come see you. It's
That
like you
feels
really
like
can't
very
drive.
I think I just got a
specific
text
person.
40
message like
minutes.
that. That exact
And then when you
conversation.
finally do get to a show in South Amboy, they tell you they have a christening. Yeah.
Is that real? Name
That
drop.
was
Name
very
drop.
real. It's just like
Name
a
drop.
coworker.
Name
It's
drop.
a
Name
coworker. No, it's just a coworker named Maureen.
Coward.
What do you want?
Let's
Everybody
talk-
has a coworker named
Brianna,
Maureen.
let's talk about your music.
Yeah.
Please.
All right. You have
Brian and I
a
were-
question, Chris?
No. I think you can run it. I was just trying to segue from us bickering, which
Okay.
we've been doing. We're like an
So
old
what's
married
the-
couple now. Jesus Christ.
So, what's the audience like? What's the what's the audience for local music like out there?
So local music like specifically Denver, it was awesome because they were majority of between 20 and 30-year-olds or even 35. Just going out at night, it was such a local, organic draw where they go out. There's like never any cover, similar to Nashville.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
people they understand, the atmosphere and the culture, and it's to support, and you cannot, ask for anything else other than that. They come out. Some of them knew a couple of the lyrics, which I thought was really, really cool.
Oh, wow. One of those 45,000, or a few of those 45,000 plays.
Oh, yeah.
Probably, right?
I would hope so, but I'll take it where I can get it.
Yeah, absolutely, especially if it's, not just in the immediate area.
Yes, definitely.
So I want to kind of take it back for just a minute. So you come from a family with a pretty impressive athletic pedigree. I
We're
mean,
a bit competitive.
You're a 3-sport athlete yourself. How difficult did you find it kind of carving a niche for yourself just within your own family, like with a family full of accomplished people?
It's a lot of fun.
That's one way to.
It's competitive, but it is a lot of fun. So yesterday we all went to Seabright, the beach.
Oh yeah.
And my younger brother is starting freshman football, and so obviously he is the youngest out of all of us, and he is like this big, and he has to play football. And so we've been trying to get him to bulk up and all this stuff.
What position does he play?
He's probably going to be a quarterback.
Oh, okay.
So we got to get him a little bit meatier. And so we were at the beach yesterday, and what turned into an innocent just toss with the football turned into like full on, all right, you're going to go this way, you're going to make a flag route, and it just got very competitive. The reason I bring that up is as much as, we all, like my brother was football, he played football in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
I was mostly soccer, but I played other sports, and my younger brother is probably going to be mostly baseball. My dad was everything in between.
And Chris is going to explain to us what a flag route is, right,
So,
Chris?
Yes, of course. So I played NFL, John Madden. I'm not going to do this bit. Well, you keep setting me up for bits, and like we can be interviewed.
All right, so
I'll
okay.
do bits. I'll do bits all
No,
night, buddy.
we're not. That was meant to be like a. And you're going to do this, and you're going to be like, no, I'm not, and then we get back
Okay,
to.
now we got to do improv together one day, Brian.
All right.
One day.
So what started as just kind of an innocent like throwing the football around became
Like a fun, competitive, but I'm not going to lose.
Yeah, I understand that energy.
It's like, this is great family fun, but I'm not losing.
So did you end up winning?
No.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that.
It could have been a better. No, it was great. It was a lot of fun.
So do you apply kind of a team sports mentality to music? Like as a band leader, do you kind of
Yes.
maintain a sort of competitive feel, or even sort of like a coaching type feel when you work with your band?
Yeah, definitely. My favorite thing to do when we were out was I like to try to make sure we hit, everything that anybody in the band wanted to go see. So my one guitarist wanted to go to the Budweiser brewery when we were in Wisconsin.
Okay.
So I was like, of course, let's go. We've got downtime. Another one, my bassist wanted to go to this art museum in Kansas City. And it was one of my favorite, stops to, go in, you go see all this beautiful art from all around the world. And you're thinking Kansas City, what could,
Yeah.
how can they have all of this from like China and Italy and all these beautiful like sculptures and architectural pieces. So I try to take that coaching mentality into making sure that everybody feels like they're welcome, everybody gets to do.
Yeah, keep everybody happy.
Yeah, definitely. My guitarist, Lucas Jones, and I, we like to be competitive because we're both guitar players.
Excellent. Do you have you gotten to a point where you're trading off like solos and things
That's
like that?
the fun part of the set, yes.
Excellent. So is this band like your steady group of collaborators, or is it, kind of hired guns or half and half? Like what was putting this band together like for you?
Yeah. So it started off as a hired guns scenario where I had only ever done acoustic shows just by myself.
Yeah, I remember seeing a few of those.
Yeah, the good old days, the
Yeah.
glory days. The one show that I did full band was my demo release show.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my first time ever playing with a full band, and I had never felt such energy before in my life. So
And that
I
was
figured
probably around this time last year, right? Like plus minus?
Yeah, January.
Oh, okay.
Like a
Never
year.
mind. A year and a half then?
All of a sudden, time's just flying.
Yeah.
But I knew from that point on, I only ever wanted to have a band ready to go at any given point. So Lucas Jones is my guitarist. He's phenomenal. The reason I picked him as my guitarist is because we are very, very different type-minded guitarists, whereas he was raised on Vi and just 80s in general, and I was more of the James Taylor and the fingerpick scenario. So I like to make sure that we're complementing each other as opposed to fighting each other with the same kind of phrasings and licks and whatnot. Austin Medina is my bassist, who is the funniest guy I have ever met since being on tour with him.
Yeah, bassists are pretty funny.
Yeah,
Funny looking.
they have their moments. And our drummer Matt Street is he's so good.
Matt Street is a very good drummer.
That's a good drummer
solid
name. That's
drummer
like a
name.
10.0.
Well, it's funny because you and Elaine both started as solo and then found the live band energy, and I think there's this idea of like you have these songs and they live in your brain,
Yeah.
and like maybe you get people, or like you hire some guys and they come in and just play their parts, but when you finally play that stuff live and you see like what a band can do with kind of anything, especially your own stuff, like that explosion of energy is kind of what we're all chasing all the time, I like to think.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, I want to make sure we touch on this too, because you said you kind of were into like James Taylor and like finger picking and things like that. You started as a classical guitarist.
Yes.
You took lessons in Italy, right?
I did take lessons while away.
Where or how did you get from classical guitar to like pop songwriting?
So I've always been a huge fan of, Stevie Nicks, Taylor Swift, Paramore. Those very strong female musicians have basically motivated me to continue. I only started playing music because my uncle, he owns a music school. Excellent. So free lessons go a long way.
I'm sure they do.
And he was a classical guitarist. He went to Montclair State. And so I studied with him while playing sports. I would actually leave practice, like soccer practice, go have my lesson, go home, and go to bed and whatnot for a majority of middle school, high school. And then when I got hurt from Del State, I had never really traveled. So that's why I wanted to go to Florence and study for at least a semester. If it were up to me, I would have stayed. But
of course.
And I went to a local music store. I bought a guitar. I was studying with one of the professors at the school that we had attended. And what I did was I had all my friends that we traveled with. They signed the guitar. Picture like one of those like Ed Sheeran, like the 3/4 or half-size guitars.
Oh yeah, that's. I thought I remember seeing like a picture maybe on your Instagram or something like that. Yeah,
I've ever
all
seen.
those signatures on there. Yeah, that's
and
really
cool. And then it's
cool.
like all the places we went, all the countries and stuff.
Oh,
it's like my prized possession.
That's like a really nice, kind of a nice remembrance of something like that too, rather than just a bunch of selfies.
I do that so like the tour that we just finished. I did that with another guitar. That I wrote all the places we did, all my bandmates signed it, and the people that we stayed with, they signed it too when we were there.
Oh, wow. And now does that get put in the case, and is that why you're now looking for like
you
another
put
guitar?
Hairspray on it so it doesn't get wiped off.
That's
and
right.
Then,
wow, yeah, I never thought.
Yeah, the guitar that I had signed in high school, I kept playing and it all rubbed off, so I got like nothing on it anymore.
Yeah, especially like right up here.
Yeah,
There's nothing there.
It's just like sweat and everything.
So let's, we only have a couple minutes left, so I want to make sure we touch on the, your latest EP. You had some older things online for a little while that seems to have all been kind of taken down. What does it mean for you to start fresh?
I just feel very relaxed. The reason I took down the other ones was they were, I wouldn't say rushed, but I didn't give them the respect that they warranted. Mm-hmm. So I will be reposting those again, just because we still play those songs at our sets. It's just really refreshing when people they'll be like, "Play this cover. I remember you had it, but we can't find it anymore. Like we came to your show hoping you would play it," and that's like honestly awesome because the engagement is all we ever really crave. And so I'll be putting those back up shortly, probably sometime around October, my birthday.
Oh, excellent.
But the new EP, we really took our time. I'm sure you guys know Tim Pinella.
Oh, yeah.
He was the engineer on it. He's a genius.
Were you working at a firehouse?
No, Lake House.
Oh, okay.
I should have done Firehouse with your brother.
Well, I mean, he has a studio in like a firehouse.
Cedar.
Cedar
Sound, yes, of course.
But he was absolutely an angel. Every time, because it was my first time in like a real studio,
Mm-hmm.
so like, can you do that? Can I? He's like so good. He's so quick and whatnot. And I would ask him. I'd be like, "Are you sure that sounds okay?" He's like, "Bree, it sounds great. Like, what else could this possibly? Like, what do you want to change?" I was like, "All right, it sounds beautiful."
Well, excellent. As we wrap up, and you're gonna be our first performer, so we're gonna get you set up and get to hear some of that. But before we do that, my last question is, how does music enable you to seek out new adventures?
What a great question.
Try to at least make the last one like decent.
Yeah,
that's
we stutter through the rest of it.
Yeah,
and
but at least the last one you finish strong. Yeah, that's what you get.
That's why they pay us the big bucks.
I'm so sorry, Brianna. I'm so sorry.
And also to not let our guests answer the questions, so we can riff on asking them the questions.
I'm sorry, Brianna.
No,
you
you're
had
good,
the
you're
floor. The floor is yours, please.
I would say when we create the music, we watch it evolve and come into this type of like body that's almost something that we just always are able to bring to life every night. It brings us to certain places like Denver and all these other crazy, like Lincoln, Nebraska was awesome.
Was
and
it?
I would have never, thought to have gone there without music. And it just creates these memories for me that I can associate with, oh my God, and that's when we wrote the follow-up song that we're gonna post in a couple of weeks.
Oh, wonderful.
And every time we go to sing that song, we leave the stage, we're like, do you remember that time where like we had a flat tire and no service? And we're like, yeah, that was great. We shouldn't do that again.
Well, that's good. It's good. It's important, I think, to create like a tangible association, especially when you're making your own music, when you're kind of creating your own your own stuff. It almost lends it a little more authenticity.
Yeah.
So, thanks for coming.
Thank you for
let's
having
hear
me.
some of that.
Oh,
Let's
of
hear some
course.
of that music.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Brianna.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you
gonna
very
yell
much.
some ads and then we're
Okay.
gonna introduce you. I'll just stay here, Matt.
I'll turn
Great.
the picture.
Oh yeah, please don't trip.
Goodness.
We can't afford another lawsuit after I sued. One More with Brian Erickson is brought to you by the Asbury Park Music Foundation. The APMF, you get set up while I'm yelling. That's what you want to do. So I'm going to yell a bunch and then I'm going to introduce you. It's going to happen very suddenly. It's brought to you by the Asbury Park Music Foundation. The APMF, or the AMP, raises money to support youth music programs throughout Asbury Park that provide lasting skills, self-confidence, and life-changing experiences for underserved kids in our communities. This includes funding for the Hip Hop Institute, the Boys and Girls Club of Monmouth, in-school music programs at Hope Academy, and scholarships for kids to attend the Lake House Music Academy located right over there. APMF also hosts concert series throughout the year, whether it's Music Monday at Springwood Park, Asbury Park Live in the summer, Suburbia Friday nights, or the Sunday Songwriter Series. APMF always has something going on. Check out their calendar for more details. If you're interested in making a meaningful difference in the community or keeping Asbury Park's legacy of music alive, head on over to AsburyParkMusicLives.org to make a donation. And while you're there, pick up a Music Save Asbury Park t-shirt. Connor Bracken owns a bunch. All proceeds make it possible to support Music Save My Life youth music programs. Bordentown Guitar Rescue. Ladies and gentlemen, One More Brian Erickson is also brought to you by Bordentown Guitar Rescue. Founded by certified luthier Mark Vierock, Bordentown Guitar Rescue has been building, modifying, customizing, and repairing string instruments since 2012. Why wait a month for a basic setup from some of the big retailers when Bordentown Guitar Rescue has the quickest turnaround in the state, guaranteed? So whether you split your headstock, your port is pitted, your jacks are dusty, your boards are pitted. I really am not doing great on this one. Sorry, Vierock. Call certified luthier Mike Vierock for an estimate. Bordentown Guitar Rescue. God's sake, Vierock, fix it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brianna Musco.
Thank you so much. Are we all good to go?
Yep.
All right. This first song is called Ringling. It is our second single off of our EP Forever. And I'm going to do a nice acoustic version of it, so I hope you enjoy it. I don't wake up with your name across my phone anymore. 2,000 miles away, and I'll bet I'm still in your mind. But I'm not gonna fight with you anymore. No, I'll just wait till the moment's right and you're done keeping score. And hold me again, wrap me up, so close, so close, so close. Let me tell you everything you've missed, and maybe you'll share some of yours. But I didn't deserve it, now you're making me nervous when you say you're open for more. Let me get my hopes up and watch you leave, 'cause we've been here before. Ringling. So the spring comes just in time for you to shut me out. And you'll make up any excuse as to why you can't talk now. But I'm not gonna waste my time anymore. No, I'll just wait till you've given up and you're at my door. And hold me again, wrap me up, So close, so close, so close. Let me tell you everything you've missed, and maybe you'll share some of yours. But I didn't deserve it. Now you're making me nervous when you say you're open for more. Let me get my hopes up and watch you leave, 'cause we've been here before. Ring, ring. You'll share some of yours, but I didn't deserve it. Now you're making me nervous when you say you're open for more. Let me get my hopes up and watch you leave, 'cause we've been here before. Ring, ring. Oh, 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 oh. Ring, ring. Oh, 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 ring, ring. Thank you. All right, this next one, we're doing 2, right? 2. Lovely. This next one is called Forever. It's actually the title track of the EP. I hope you enjoy it. It's doing really well right now, and I'm just really happy that people are also enjoying it, because it's a song that always makes me happy and is always very exciting to perform. So I hope you enjoy it. We were young and you were always there. I couldn't believe my eyes. You picked first, and I played hard to get, 'cause I knew it then. But you saved me a seat when you took my hand. You rescued me when you let me in, and I thought to myself, there you go with everything and every touch. You're making me love you. There you go. It's crazy to think you'll never leave, but that's okay, because I think I can love you forever and ever. Losing time, never let me go, and I'll never give up on you, 'cause every time you know what to say when you hold me in your arms. I called you cheap when things got hard, but you're always there when you let me in, and I thought to Thank you so much.
Am I saying that right? Is it Musco? Did I get it?
It's really great.
Is that
perfect.
it? Wow.
Nice job.
Good for me. I didn't even check that out. Ladies and gentlemen, the week in events is brought to you by Live Music Loyalty, the only music app that's also live and music and loyalty. Monday, 8/12. Happy birthday to Mikey the Hell Yeah Babies. If you're happy for Mikey's birthday, give me a Hell Yeah Baby. Thank you. Late Wave, Slow Death, Devious Ones, and Nervous Triggers at Creative Space in Long Branch at $5. Happy Mondays at the Wonder Bar featuring Well Wisher, Cyber Twin, No Thank You, and Earth Telephone. That's happening like right now. Go over as we speak. Tuesday, 8/13, Finding Phoebus, penultimate show with Matt Barone and Broke Royals at Wonder Bar, 7:30. It's free. Langhorn Slim with Twain at the Asbury Lane at 7 p.m. Wednesday, 8/14, Asbury Park Live with the Mercury Brothers and Rachel Ann Dobkin at Mogo Stage at 6:30. I think I'm playing that. Avery Mandeville, Sean, Pony, Heath, Thielberg, and Renee Maskin at the Saint. Thursday, 8/15, Jams in the Sand has Jazz's Fish and Funky Dogs Brass Band and Anchors Band at 5 to 10 p.m. That's free. The Vagabonds, Dave Mooney at the Saint at 7 p.m. They're showing fucking Shrek at the Asbury Hotel on Thursday. Not Shrek fucking, just Shrek. It's crazy. I wrote that myself, and I think that's hilarious. Friday, 8/16, happy birthday to Jess MacDosco. Love you, Jess. Low Lights, Endless Bummer, pre-release party with the Porchistas and Terra Dente at Transparent Gallery at 7 to 10 p.m. Gallagher's Guest House EP release with Tide Band, Silk Brand at the Saint. Blaze, Shoebies, and Skyline at the Yacht Club at 9:30. Patty C and his friends are at the Water Witch and Highlands at 7 p.m. Saturday, 8/17, the Rabbi Brothers at Yacht Club. Cranston Dean Band at Langosta. Dinosaur Pileup with Wet Brain at the Saint. Dinosaur Pileup is such a good band name. Holy shit. Rachel and Adopkin, Fox Ann, Honeywild, and My Lanky Ass are John and Peters and New Hope. Sunday, 8/18, happy birthday to my girlfriend Ava. I think I speak for all of us when I say I don't understand how you do it, but thank you. The Soul Rebels with Pepper Wine at the Asbury Lane, 7 p.m. And Death Valley Girls and Shark Muffin at the Saint at 7:30 p.m. Busy week for the Saint. Awesome. Download the Live Music Loyalty app to find every show in the area and connect with local artists. Follow This Week in Asbury Park, a Spotify playlist by Live Music Loyalty that highlights all the artists playing in Asbury Park this week. Listen local, people, and use the app. Live Music Loyalty. It's great. And you know what else is great? Elaine Rasnake. I didn't get it right. It's Rasnake.
No, you got it right the
I
first
got it
time.
right the first time. All right.
Trust your gut, man.
Gotta go with it. Play.
The song is Untitled. So many times I make up rhymes, but I still don't know the words to say. And so many times I'd make you mine, but I do not know the words to say. 'Cause even I want you sounds so strange, and even I love you sounds so plain, and even I want you sounds so strange, and even I love you sounds so plain. And even I want you sounds so strange, and even I love you sounds so plain, and even I want you sounds so strange, so plain. Thank you. This song is called End of the Night, and there's a video on YouTube for it. I'm sitting here 3 blocks from the avenue, outside where the street has started to bloom. And I feel so, 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 so small. My body's stiff, but my tongue's too loose. They pass me a spliff, but I lace up my shoes. 'Cause I'd like to keep my feet on the ground tonight, if that's alright. And maybe things will get better. Maybe things will get better by the end of the night. By the end of the night. I found you alone in a room down the hall with stacks of books. I'm sure you've read them all. And the lights start dimming 'cause this house is a mess. I slowly approached and reached out my hand. You stood up and your eyes said that you had a plan to get out of here and see everything we can. See everything we can by the end of the night. By the end of the night. So we took a car to the ocean, but we couldn't stop here. Every single location on this tiny sphere had something we wanted to see. Uh-huh. Let's go. Mile marker 41's where we end here. I'm simply glad that the sky stayed clear. And if only my car didn't stop shifting gears. But we gotta keep going, right? Well, I'm nearly broke, but I'll still spend what I have on you. And I'm surrounded by fire, but what else is new? Man, I try so, 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 so hard to keep my cool. And maybe things will get better. Maybe now things are better and I feel alright. 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 Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, all right. Brianna's here. No, we can all.
We're just too tall, man.
We never do this right. Look, I'm all. Elaine Rasnake,
Thanks.
Brianna Musco, for Chris Dubrow, everybody here at the Asbury Park Music Foundation, Mogo Korean Fusion Tacos, and Live Music Loyalty. I have been, and I remain Brian Erickson. We will see you next week. Good night, everybody.